The vast majority of news in the US is controlled by five huge corporations, and News Voice is fighting back against media monopolies. It's the first ever entirely open, crowdsourced, democratized platform for news. Use the link right underneath this video to download the News Voice app for free. It really pains me to say this, but ISIS is on the verge of experiencing a revival. And this is not the type of news that maybe we expected to have to bring you, even as recently as 6 months ago. And it is all thanks to Donald Trump's recent decision to pull troops from northern Syria. And it is an absolute unmitigated disaster. The French prime minister now says that the reemergence of ISIS is inevitable, saying, quote, "This is devastating for our security, with the inevitable resurgence of Islamic State in northeastern Syria and probably also northwest Iraq. And so the destabilization of a government that doesn't need that." That's Edouard Philippe, the French prime minister, yesterday. What is he talking about? Well, as I told you yesterday, thanks to Donald Trump's decision to bail in northern Syria, hundreds of the relatives of ISIS members escaped from Kurdish-held camps. Donald Trump reacting by claiming that it is that Kurds are deliberately releasing ISIS-associated people in order to draw the United States back into the region. Now, that's a conspiracy theory with absolutely no evidence supporting it. In case you didn't immediately realize that, there's no evidence for Donald Trump's claim whatsoever. And once again, we very quickly have a coalition that is building, and it is a coalition on which the United States is on the wrong side. Trump bailing in Syria is an opening to Turkey to absolutely slaughter the Kurds, which they're doing, which they started doing within hours of Donald Trump's pullback. Other countries involving many of our historical democratic allies are uniting against Turkey: France, Italy, Germany, Finland, Sweden, all stopping weapons sales to Turkey immediately. The United Kingdom considering similar action. And meanwhile, Donald Trump has gotten out of the way of Turkey so that Turkey can do untold levels of violence against the Kurds, which they did as soon as Donald Trump gave them that opportunity last week. Donald Trump is undoing the fight against ISIS after bragging for 2 years that he took ISIS out. Now, if we want to speculate about the underlying reasons for Trump doing this, last night on my live stream, which was prematurely ended, by the way, I was asked about some of the motivations for why Donald Trump took this action. There's a wide-ranging list of possibilities. What we do know is that Donald Trump made this decision to pull troops from northern Syria, despite it not being recommended by anyone who was in the know. His generals, as Donald Trump likes to say, did not recommend this decision. This action. The State Department did not recommend pulling troops from northern Syria. So it leaves us to wonder, any reasonable person would say, well, if none of the experts are recommending Trump do this, why did he do it? And then we start to speculate. Does Erdogan have something so bad on the killing of Jamal Khashoggi that if it were to get out, it would be even more devastating that Donald Trump didn't do a damn thing about it, instead selling more weapons to Saudi Arabia? It's a possibility. Is it once again Donald Trump lining up with what Putin wants? Putin, of course, a supporter of dictator Bashar al-Assad in Syria, who is, of course, on the opposite side of the Kurds, who now are being slaughtered by the Turkish forces. That's a possibility. Could it have been motivated by trying to prevent Putin from releasing, some compromising materials that he might have on Donald Trump? That's merely a speculative thing. We also have seen no evidence that Donald Trump is capable of feeling shame. So the possibility of shame maybe is not the best explanation for why Donald Trump might do what he did. Is it merely financial, as is often the case with Donald Trump? Trump, of course, having his hotel in Turkey. There's financial quid pro quo, maybe involving the Turkish government. And Trump does this in exchange for, I don't know, Turkey letting him keep his Trump Tower open there. We're speculating. What we know is that the action makes no sense, and we've gotten no suitable explanation for why Donald Trump has done this. I, again, lean more towards the financial. rather than to prevent embarrassing stuff from being released, because I've not seen evidence that Donald Trump is truly capable of feeling shame. We've seen him get very angry when he feels that someone has been disloyal. A normal person would also feel ashamed by some of the stuff that has gone on. But for Trump, it seems to be mostly anger. I don't know the answer. What do you think is behind this? If you're watching on YouTube, leave a comment giving me your idea. Otherwise, send me a tweet at @dpakman. And of course, make sure you're following the David Pakman Show on Instagram at David Pakman Show.